How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over the updated version of the Power Siphon Trickster that I've been playing. I did go back to this. We have basically upgraded the gear. We've moved on to a CI setup here, and we're going to kind of go over what it takes in order to do that, and then kind of what you get out of doing that. So first things first, this version of the build is just basically fully leaning into power charge stacking. With this version, we are at 11 power charges. So we're getting 2 from our shield. We are getting 1 from our belt, 1 from our helmet, and then we are getting 1 from our wand, and then just whatever we have on tree. For my chest, I am using a Torturer garb. These were significantly cheaper than the Necromantic garbs when I bought it. So I think I paid like 80 C or something for the base. So I ended up just basically buying that and crafting it into something decent and usable. It's nothing too crazy. So the changes to the tree, you pretty much just drop all the life nodes as you would expect. You swap them for ES nodes instead. Over here, so you end up taking Void Barrier, and then you end up getting Arcing Blows instead. So there is one little thing that I am doing right now, because instead of using an Enlightened 3, if you have an Enlightened 3, you just buy that and you just stick it in with your auras instead. But because I don't have an Enlightened 3, I actually happen to have an Impossible Escape for Runebinder on my Gladiator. So I just moved it over here for now just to basically take Sovereignty. Yeah, so you can do that. It definitely saves you some time and hassle of things. You do definitely have a harder push on your stats with this version of the build. Your dex and your int and your strength, everything is being pushed quite a bit because you are wearing so many unique items. I think the best in slot for this version of the build is probably going to be Will Clash, but a Will Clash with +1 power charge is like 5 divine as I look at it right now. I think it's like 8 divide even if you get it with the extra elemental damage, like the maximum roll on that as well. So you do have to keep that in mind. I did end up getting myself some rings that actually have this flat evasion on them as well, in order to get the 20% maximum energy shield here. And then what you want to be doing is you are going to want to ensure that you get some, you have at least one of these lower mana cost crafts, because your mana is going to be extremely low, to the point where you're only using a lower level of precision. So you don't end up maxing this out, and you do end up basically trading a little bit of DPS, or a little bit of hit chance rather, on normal monsters compared to what we have for bosses. So if you look at the actual PoB that we have here, actually pulled up here, the PoB we're looking at, this is 7 million per mine, but because you are throwing 3 mines at a time, it's actually about 21 million. DPS, the Chaos Res, again, we're immune. We don't need to worry about that. Our suppression is still not capped because I don't have the best gear. We're supposed to have suppression on our chest. If I had suppression on the chest, then it would basically just be fixed already. So, but given we don't have that, we're just basically going off what we can. We get a decent amount off of our flask here, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so other than that, you need a Void Battery. Void Batteries are only like 100 C right now, maybe. If you want to get a better roll, you can get one, they might be 1 to 2 divine, something like that. Malachi's loops are dirt cheap. It's basically the Ralakesh. It's pretty much the most expensive part of this. The Ralakesh itself is about 18 divines from what I paid for them. So this is definitely on the more expensive end to kind of swap, but I mean, that's not that expensive for where we're already at in the league at this point. Yeah, so with this, because I didn't have the strength required in order to run volatility, I did just end up swapping into Lightning Pen instead of volatility. If you have better gear than me and you actually have the strength that you require, then you would obviously want to run volatility, because you'll see here that volatility is actually more damage than what we have. But apparently LA Focus is even better than what we have too. But either way, the yeah, kind of what you're getting out of this is just going to be better again, but we don't have the strength required for volatility. So if you actually manage to get strength crafted on something, then it is going to be better. Just keep that in mind. yeah, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And other than that, see you in the next one. You can see some of the cons with the new boots, though, is that they are slower. They're definitely slower than using, like, proper MS boots, because you're giving up, 40 to 50 MS, which can be kind of annoying. But that's kind of the price you pay, I guess, for the power of these, I suppose. Yeah, I think realistically, probably the end game of this character is to convert it over to Hexblast. You take your power stacking gear, you take it, and you just move it over to again, you just move it over to Hexblast, because everything's going to convert over except basically your rings. Yeah, but I mean, your rings, you have to equip your rings that have curses on them anyways, right? So it's pretty much where you're at with it. It doesn't again, doesn't change things too much. It's better for CI like this. It's probably going to be better for Simulacrum, things like that. But again, I mean, that's where Hexblast is just tried and true. It definitely comes out ahead. I mean, the Power Siphon is a definitely better early game, but I think you're going to get further, or you're going to get more bang for your buck with, I don't even feel like doing this a bit right now. I feel like you're going to get more bang for your buck out of, again, out of converting this thing over to Hexblast. Than you are going to be to try to continue it on Power Siphon, just because as you start to get into the harder content of the game, the limitations of Power Siphon being requiring you to have your distance and everything definitely hurts more so. I mean, I think that you feel the movement speed loss on this more because of the fact that you're need to be so mobile on this version compared to Hexblast, right? You don't really need that on that version. Just because you can kind of sit down and you're going to basically be able to just drop Hexblast right at your feet, and they're going to basically pop on everything and get it all down. So definitely something to think about. I figured it's a good idea to get a video out of the build and kind of where I took it and where I'm in the process of it. But yeah. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. And other than that, see you in the next one.